everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and today I'm going to be bringing you my mid-December wrap-up. Now, with the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, I expected it to be a little bit slower on my reading, and that has definitely been the case for me in December. I've been extra busy this month trying to get more work done in less time to get everything in ahead of the Christmas holiday, and just in general dealing with getting prepared for the Christmas holiday. And I've been posting 3 videos a week in December instead of my usual 2, so between all of that I have slowed down on my reading quite a bit. I was in a slump for a little while there, so all of that being said, I have only completed 4 books so far in the month of December, but that is okay. I am not discouraged by that. One of the books that I read was pretty chunky, so I'm okay with that number. I'm hoping to be able to take advantage of more of my free time in the second half of the month, but we'll see. So before I get into telling you about the books, if you're new here and you're not already, be sure to go down and hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon down below so that you never miss out on any of my content. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first book that I completed in the month of December was Frankly in Love by David Yoon. So Frankly in Love follows our main character Frank, and he is a senior in high school who is a Korean American, and his parents are very traditional, have traditional Korean values, and they want him to date and eventually marry a Korean girl. But Frank finds himself falling for a white girl, and he has no idea how to tell his parents. He knows that they're never going to approve. Well, there is another Korean American girl that goes to his school that is in the same scenario. She has a boyfriend that is not Korean. Her parents aren't going to approve of him. So Frank and this Korean American girl, Joy, decide to fake date so that they can actually date the people that they want to. But when Frank finds himself falling for Joy as well, chaos ensues. Now, for a YA contemporary debut, I feel like this was a pretty solid novel. The characters were well developed. I especially liked Frank's best friend, Q. I really liked the way that his character was developed, and just in general, everyone throughout the novel felt really unique and fleshed out. But this wasn't a total hit for me. I did appreciate some of the commentary in this book about racism and parental expectations, especially when you're in high school going into college. Some of those narratives were really well thought out, but in general, a lot of the aspects of the book just didn't really work for me. This book is mainly pitched as a romance, and a lot of the problems that I had were in the romance. I feel like that this book has been marketed as like a rom-com, and that is definitely a big part of the plot, but there are so many other points of this story that I found much more interesting than the romance. So we get to see a lot of interactions between Frank and his parents, and again, we get to see a lot of their expectations on him and their views of the world versus his views of the world, and a lot of the familial aspects of this book I really appreciated, and the romance kind of fell flat for me. I can't go into a ton of detail because it is a little bit spoilery, but if you want to know more and you've read it, then let me know and I will talk to you. But regardless, it just kind of was hit or miss for me in general. I will also say the writing style in this is really quirky and fun, and I really enjoyed that in the first part of the novel, but as we kept going throughout the novel, it got more and more annoying, so take that with a grain of salt. That really depends on your personal taste. And also, I just now looked up this book on Goodreads, and apparently it's getting a sequel, which is really weird to me because I do not think that it needs a sequel. It ends in a good spot. It should just be a standalone. I don't know. There's no information about it really on the Goodreads page, just the fact that it is going to exist. So it might be a companion novel. We might follow a different character. I'm really not sure, but I don't feel like this story needs a continuation. So in general, this one was kind of middle of the road for me. I think that I will read more from David Yoon in the future, but this one I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I completed in December, I listened to on audio, and that was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. Now, Truly Devious centers around this school called Ellingham Academy, where years and years ago, the founder of the school, his daughter and wife ended up going missing, and this man kept the school up and wanted to have a place for his daughter to return to, and she never did, unfortunately. And the big mystery surrounding the case is that this man was being blackmailed by someone who is writing him letters and signed them Truly Devious. And this has now been dubbed the Truly Devious case. Nobody has ever been able to figure out who Truly Devious was or why they were targeting this man. So then, come to present day, Ellingham Academy is still open and accepting students, and we follow our main character, Stevie Bell, who is accepted at Ellingham Academy, and her big passion is true crime, and she has taken it as her personal mission to solve the Truly Devious case. Now, within her solving the case, there is more mystery and intrigue that happens throughout the novel. I don't want to say a ton because it is a little bit spoilery again, but we're just going to leave it at that for now. Now, one of the things that I did really enjoy about this novel is that we get a dual timeline. So we're following Stevie in her journey at Ellingham Academy and trying to solve the new mystery that's come up on campus, as well as the truly devious case. And we also get flashbacks to the truly devious case actually happening, the kidnappings actually happening, and them trying to solve the case way back when. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this book was just the concept of Ellingham Academy itself. So Albert Ellingham, who was the tycoon that opened the school, opened it so that kids with different interests could come and hone their crafts for free, no tuition, not have to worry about money. So that manifests in present day as all these people with all of these different interests get to come in and focus on what they want to focus on. So we get to hear from a ton of characters with a lot of different passions, and I thought that was really cool. I will say the mystery part of this was really well done. It definitely kept me on the edge of my seat and kind of theorizing what I thought was going to happen next or what was happening. I will say one thing I really didn't like about this book is there is a love interest that comes in that I feel was really unnecessary. It seemed really random to me, and I don't feel like it had a place overall in the general storyline. I feel like the author just kind of threw it in there just to have a romance, but I really don't feel like this story needs one. Now, I am definitely intrigued to continue the series, but I'm gonna be completely honest. I finished this audiobook a little bit less than 2 weeks ago, and I've already forgotten a ton about what happened, so I'm definitely going to have to read a detailed summary if and when I do continue with the series. But overall, this one was a pretty good start to a series. I know a ton of people have already read and loved this one, so I'm hoping that the next book in the trilogy will satisfy me even more. I'll end up giving this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars as well. The next book that I completed was finally Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So I think everybody knows this by now. I have talked about this book enough on my channel, but essentially it follows our main character Alex, who is the first son of the United States, and he gets into a kerfuffle with Prince Henry, who is the Crown Prince of Wales. Alex's mom is up for re-election in her campaign, and she thinks that it's really bad if it looks like they are feuding. So Alex and Henry are made to become friends, and they wind up becoming something more. Now, the thing that I love about this book is I feel like it's been pitched as a romance, and obviously it is a romance. The romance is a huge part of the story, but there is so much more that happens in this novel that I just loved. And just in general, once I finished this novel, I was just filled with an immense sense of hope. This novel is set in an alternate reality America where after President Obama left office, Alex's mother was elected as the first female president of the United States. And just the events that play out in this book really give you a sense of hope and looking forward to the future and hoping that something like the events in this novel might actually take place and that people are actually as good as we want to believe that they are. Now, of course, the romance in this book is freaking adorable. I will say it happened a lot faster than I thought it would. I was led to believe that they were going to be like hate to loving it throughout the entire story, and that's not really the case. It does happen a lot quicker than I thought, but I still loved it. Prince Henry is just a sunflower. He's my little snowball. He's just the softest shit that I have ever seen in my life. I love everything about him. I love everything about them. The characters in this novel are so good. Every single one of them. I just want to be a part of their crew. It's just the best group of people that you could ever possibly hope to have as friends. And I will also say, obviously, there is a lot of politics that's discussed in this novel that I thought was really, really intriguing. You get to see some of the behind the scenes of what's happening in their personal lives and how the politics are weaving in and out as Alex's mom tries to get up for re-election, and it was just really cool to see that. So overall, this one was just so cute and so good. If you haven't picked it up yet and you're looking for a cute romance with a little bit more substance, I would definitely recommend this one, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I'm going to talk about today was actually a reread for me, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. While I do own a physical copy of this, I listened to it on an audiobook. I've talked about it countless times. I probably don't even have to say that much about this book. I have an entire video dedicated to the works of Libba Bray. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it up above. But essentially, if you haven't read it yet, The Diviners is set in 1920s New York, and we follow our main character, Evie, who has a special ability to tell the history of an item after she touches it. Now, she is sent to New York from her hometown in Ohio, and she winds up living with her uncle, and they find themselves investigating a murder case, and Evie is using her power to help out. Now, I read this book first last year in October of 2018, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars at that point, but after a reread, I have bumped my rating up all the way to 5 stars. This is just phenomenal. I had forgotten a lot about what actually happens in this book. I remembered the spooky feelings and just how it sucked me into that world and how cool the characters were and their powers and blah, 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 but I forgot a lot of the nitty-gritty of what actually happened in here, and it is so good. The narrator of the audiobook is so good. The storyline of this is is so good. It is a chunky book, but it's worth it. If you haven't gotten on this series yet, it finishes up in January, so go ahead and pick it up. It's not spooky season anymore, but this is so good. I would read this any time of the year. It's phenomenal. Now, I do want to talk about one little spoilery thing that is a spoiler for the rest of the series. So if you are not caught up with the Diviner series, I'm gonna go ahead and put this book down while I talk about the spoilers. So mute me or skip ahead until you see this book again, and then I'll be done with spoilers. But if you are not caught up with the whole rest of the series and you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen until this book comes back. So the one little spoiler thing that I wanted to say, and again, this is a spoiler for the rest of the series, but we know, if you are caught up with the series, we know that Evie is with Sam. They are in a romantic relationship, and I completely forgot that Evie and Jericho have a thing going on in this book, and it was weird AF to see them in a relationship, because I'm so used to Evie with Sam. I don't like Evie with Jericho. It makes me uncomfortable. They're better as friends. I want Evie and Sam back. So I'm ready for Lair of Dreams when they start to get their little thing. But in general, I just absolutely love this book. Like I already said, I gave it a 5 out of 5 this time around, and I'm going to be picking up Lair of Dreams as soon as it comes in my library. So that is it for all 4 books that I have read so far in the month of December. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know if you have read any of the books that I talked about today. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please go down and give it a big thumbs up, as well as hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon down below so that you never miss out on any of my content. So until next time, bye!